Hello and welcome to Calls. This is the 2022 Dell Match Play Initial Research Show. Hope you had a great weekend. Lots of March Madness. The Valspar, did you have Sam Burns? Did you have Davis Riley? I've used him a lot early on this season, and then the 1 week that he actually plays well, I don't use him, so that's the way it goes for me generally. And as you can tell, I am a proud fan as my team has reached the Sweet 16, so I will be repping my team all week. I will try not to overdo it, but the beanie is probably going to stay on until they lose. So with that out of the way, this is going to be an interesting week. It's a double tournament week, so make sure you set your reminders, your calendar or whatnot. So tomorrow night will be the data dive show for the Dell Match Play. Tuesday night will be the DFS Tactics for the Dell Match Play. Then Wednesday night I am going to cover the Corrales Punta Cana all the way through initial research, data dive, and DFS. So again, set your reminders if you want to catch all of those shows this week. They are all at 9 p.m. Eastern, but with the double tournament week and the match play starting on Wednesday, the main tournament is going to go Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then the alternate event will be Wednesday night. So again, unique format, match play. It's a lot of fun. The top 64 players in the world are the ones that are invited. Those who declined, and they just go down the OWGR 65, 66, and so on. So again, star-studded field. It's generally a lot of fun. It's a good change of pace. You get brackets and all that stuff, and we'll get into that all through the week, but we're done with this intro, so let's get through it. All statistics tonight and every night are provided by FantasyNational.com. It's an amazing resource. I say it every show. It allows me to do what I do, and if you go invest in it, you don't have to listen to an idiot like me. You can go do your own research, come up with your own conclusions, and then jump in this chat and tell me how stupid I am. So go check them out. It is simply the best tool out there. In the description of the video, there are links to my social media where I post my betting cards and any interesting research that I find throughout the week leading up to the tournament, which this week will be 2 tournaments. So I'll try to pose a couple of questions or a couple of insights that I've been researching more so tomorrow, and I'll try to post that tomorrow or Tuesday. Also in the description of the video, there is an email to get in touch with me if you want to be a part of bonus content. This includes things like bonus videos, my tournament fact sheet, which lists my favorite DFS plays, fades, best bets, and whatnot. So if you want to be a part of that content as well, reach out to the email in the description. And then finally, we are live. Chat is open. I mentioned I want to hear how your weekend went. How did DFS go in Valspar? Did you have a lot of Sam Burns? Did you have Davis Riley and Matthew Neesmith and Fitzpatrick and all those guys? Did you have the outright wager on Sam Burns? You would have had to lay a lot of wood on it, but he was one of the favorites for a reason. A 2-time defending champ now at the Valspar. So I want to hear about that, and I want to hear about any of the brackets that you got going. It is March Madness. You have a little bit of little fun banter back and forth, a little trash talk if your team is still alive. Maybe they're playing right now. So I'll jump in chat. I want to hear all about that. So without any further delay, let's do our initial research for the 2022 Dell Match Play. And we transition over here. Normally we'll go to the tournament fact sheet, but I checked about 10 to 15 minutes ago and there wasn't one out from the GCSAA. So instead it's going to be a bit of a different at least start to the show. We are going to start here at Fantasy National and then move to the course breakdown, but you'll see in the course breakdown there's a limited set of data that we gather, or at least Fantasy National gathers, that I am able to try to analyze. Let me make sure I have chat up going here. So let's jump into it, and I'll explain why perhaps the data is missing or can't be gathered for this format. So the match play field is played in Austin, Texas, at Austin Country Club. and it's been there since about 2016, I think. And the course is pretty darn short. We'll see that here in a minute. But your top players all in the world are here. I believe the highest ranked OWGR player not here is Cameron Smith. In the past 6 months, we always look at an overview of who's been playing well for a while now. So in the past 6 months, your top performers, your strokes gained total leaders, over that time frame with no filters, just pure performance. They are Justin Thomas, Scotty Scheffler, Russell Henley, John Rahm, Tom Hoge, Victor Hovland, Patrick Cantlay, Billy Horschel, Colin Morikawa, and Cameron Young. And again, Sam Burns sitting here 11th. That will change tomorrow when the Valspar is loaded here into Fantasy National. But before we go any further into digging into much of the data, let's go to the course breakdown that we normally do. And you can already see that there's some graphs missing here. But let's go through a kind of a scorecard look. One of the things that really stands out here, you've got quite a few eagle chances. The 12th stands out as a big risk-reward hole. It measures fairly long, but it is fairly straight. It's just water on the left. How much you want to take on the water depends on what you're, if you want the great chance at an eagle, it's there, but you have to take on the water, etc., etc. The drivable par 4 13th right after it. Again, you see it plays to about a half a shot under par. It's got its fair share of eagles as well. Oh, I'm sorry, no, there. Apologies. It yields a ton of birdies. Sorry, it plays to about a half a shot under par. Yields a bunch of birdies because it's, a drivable par 4, but you have water on the left where if you're wayward, you're just going to lose the hole. And that's the beauty of match play is, guys know that if they take an 8 on a hole, they're not out of the round by any means. They just lose one hole, and they might just lose one hole on the day. So guys get very aggressive. It's one of the more fun and entertaining formats for the viewers to see guys just go attack pins. So from a scorecard view, generally we try to see, in between the 9th and the 10th to give us an idea on how easy a course is. Well, the 9th, it plays to 2/10 under par. The 10th does the same. You go to 8th, it's still under. 7th is under. You go to the 5th toughest hole, it's still under par. The 4th is still under par. You have to get to in between the 3rd toughest and 4th toughest hole before you start seeing any fair amount of bogeys, which tells you that this course is extremely easy. And a part of that is due to the nature of the format. Guys, again, just get aggressive, and when they pull shots off, they're sitting pretty for birdie, and they know they have to make birdies to win holes and move on in the tournament, in the format. So for anyone who is not familiar with match play, and especially this format, there are 64 players here this week. The top 16 players, according to OWGR, so if the top 16 players are playing this week, they will all get seeded into what are called pods. And then it kind of goes down the list where the 1 through 16 seeds or players, they can't all be in the same pod, and then 17 to 32 all get drawn for a pod, then the 33 through 48, and so on and so forth. So you have 16 pods of 4, and the winner of each pod advances to a single elimination bracket style format. So again, Austin Country Club is the definition of a risk-reward course for a risk-reward format. It is to me, it's a perfect golf course to put match play on. And speaking of Austin Country Club and the course design and course layout, it is a Pete Dye design, so there are definitely some stats we can take from Fantasy National with Pete Dye designed courses and try to build a data model around them, around those courses. So again, from a scorecard view, it is a short course. I'll get to that here in a bit. Very easy. There are quite a few eagle chances on the par fives. Again, a lot of that is linked to the nature of the tournament and the format, but there are quite a few eagle chances. Even the par fours can yield some eagles. Lots and lots of birdies. So we're definitely going to be looking at birdies and better. We might throw in some eagles as well. Definitely some opportunities gained. There is going to be a lot that we can glean from those statistics. There's not any data we can gather on shot type. There are course composition graph here. I went ahead and made that, so we'll get to that here in a bit as well. There is a approach shot distribution that's not here. I tried to mimic that in Excel. We'll get to that. But to speak to the easy nature of the course and the tournament format, you've got about 22% birdies. You actually have a decent amount of eagles, just under 1%. And bogeys is only at 13% and only a little over 1% for bogeys. So a lot more birdies than bogeys plus. Lends to an easy format, easy tournament scoring, and all that. And just speaking to the fact that we don't get any data course specific wise, we don't know the green and regulation percentage, scrambling percentage. The single round scores are very weird just because of the way the format works. So this is what we can gather from Fantasy National, is that it is very easy. So this is one time where I am going to switch to Microsoft Excel view, transition over here and bring up what I have, what I described as the whole yardages and the course composition. And this is per Pro Visualizer, Austin Country Club. It is a par 71 that plays to 7,084 yards. So it's very short. It's a Pete Dye design. So those are two metrics right off the bat that we can look at and start our research this week. So again, par 71, just under 7,100 yards. There are 6 holes with water in play, most notably at the start of the back 9. I mentioned the 12th, the par 5, the next hole, the drivable 13th, par 4 13th, with water all on the left. I believe that's the iconic hole. So 6 holes with water in play. These have generally been fast Bermuda greens. We do know we're on Bermuda, so that's another part we can look at this week. But speaking specifically to the course, there are 4 par 3s, 3 par 5s, and 11 par 4s. So in the par 3s, you have one extremely short par 3, you have one fairly long par 3 between 200 and 225, and then 2 middling length from 175 to 200. The par 4 range, you have 1 drivable, you have 4 from 350 to 400, so again, very short par 4s, 2 from 400 to 450, and 4 from 450 to 500. It's going to be pretty tough this week to see if any of these ranges matter more than the other. We might just have to go with par 4 scoring. We might just have to do some overall metrics, the Pete Dye, the short, things of that nature, birdies and better. I don't know how specific we can get this week. So that's going to be part of the challenge, and part of the fun is that if we can find an angle, we'll be able to exploit it in theory. Then of the par 5s, they are all of the 550 to 600 length. So if there is a length, it might be that we want to focus on the par 5, 550 to 600, just because all the par 5s are going to be attackable. You've got to get birdies at least on those holes if you want to win the hole. So that might be something we can look at. Not really sure. I have been a little bit sidetracked today, if you can tell by the beanie what I've been watching today. And this weekend just kind of got away from me. I was out of town for a bit of it, and yeah, it's just been an eventful weekend. Fun, but eventful weekend. So here is the course composition that I cobbled together per Pro Visualizer. And again, per Pro Visualizer, I tried to get to recreate the approximate approach, the approach shot distribution chart in Fantasy National. You'll see here that it says there are 7 from 75 to 100. Just as a general rule, I put all of the par 5s here just because that's what Pro Visualizer does. It sets it as a 3-shot hole every par 5. It clearly is not here. So 3 of these 4 do come, or 3 of these 7, excuse me, do come down here into the 200. That means there is a legitimate par 4 that is very short but not drivable. So you do have a fair amount of wedges in your hand. I mean, really short wedges. Again, speaking to the drivable par 4 13th, if you don't drive the green, you have an approach shot very close to that. But there is not a range here that is in particularly prevalent, I would say. I mean, even at the 75 to 100 range, I don't think we're going to use much on the proximity approach shot distribution chart anyway. But for those who wanted to see it, it is 4 from 75 to 100, 2, 2, 2 and 1, and then I would say 3 from 200 plus. Again, I just put all the par 5s in here because that's what Pro Visualizer does, but make a note that 3 of these 7 go into the 200 plus. So that is what I can give you as far as what Fantasy National is missing and what I can do for you from Pro Visualizer. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of that. Bring up Fantasy National. Switch the view back for you all, and I believe that's the last time we're going to switch views, I promise. We will go now to the historic conditions, and this is part of the problem as well, is that we only go back to 2017. So while we do have the stats from 2016 and 17, or at least the course conditions, we have nothing from there on. So it's going to be a little difficult to gather a lot of historical data for this tournament. But in the 2 years that we have measured, the scoring has been average to difficult then, and I don't think I think it's played much easier since then. The greens have always been Bermuda here at Austin Country Club. The greens have always been firm. The rough length has been average. The greens have always been fast. It's always been very short. Now, the big thing to take into effect is we are done with the Florida swing, and we had quite a bit of volatile weather down in Florida this year. But moving to Texas, we are going to have some wind. That is a pretty common theme, but when we start playing often in Texas, the match play, the Valero Texas Open, which I believe is next week, maybe 2 weeks from now, a lot of wind. And I do have Wind Finder up for early projections. And again, weather changes seemingly by the hour, but we can definitely take a look and see if we want to put some wind factors into our research. So that's about what I can give you for as far as past course conditions. Bermuda greens, they're always fast. I don't think they're lightning, so I'm just going to be using fast Bermuda. It's always short, and it's generally fairly windy. If we look to the tournament history, we do have results back to 2019. Your defending champion is Billy Horschel from 2021. Kevin Kisner won in 2019. 2018, don't think the guy is playing. 2017 was DJ. 2016 we don't have, and 2015 I don't think is here. But and also to speak to the fact that we don't have any raw data or deep dive data. Even strokes gained total, we just don't have for this event. We can kind of get a feel for who's been playing this fairly well. Let's take a look at Windfinder before we dig into as much detail as we can. So remember, with this being a 5-day tournament, we're actually going to be looking at wind starting Wednesday. And you can see tomorrow is supposed to be extremely windy. It looks like a storm is coming in tomorrow around the Austin area. Tuesday, very windy, very chilly for Texas, I would imagine. But Wednesday looks to be fairly gusty and chilly again, from what I would gather, with a high of 66, but not a lot of wind, just gusty. Same thing for Thursday, warming up a little bit. Friday actually looks pretty calm, and then Saturday and Sunday look like fun with not a lot of sustained winds but gusts, and then late Sunday looks to be windy, sustained, and gusts. So definitely going to have some wind in the early projections or early models this week, and then we'll keep an obvious eye out, see how the weather develops wind wise and all that throughout the week. So the first thing I want to do is to look at Pete Dye courses. This is a Pete Dye design, a different format. Obviously, you guys can get really, really aggressive and all that, just due to the nature of, if you blow up on a hole, it doesn't cost you the round or even the tournament even. Let's see, in the past 12 months, 20 rounds, yeah, that should be enough. So your top 10 performers on Pete Dye courses in the past calendar year. You have Corey Connors, Shane Lowry, Sung Jae, Colin Morikawa, Abraham Ancer, Paul Casey, Keegan Bradley, Louis, DJ, and Russell Henley. Oh, and Brian Harman. So Henley and Harman tied for 10th. It says Paul Casey is withdrawn. That is just a carryover from this week's Valspar. Paul Casey is in the field this week. The same for Sebastian Munoz. Again, that is just a carryover from this week's Valspar. So good stuff there. There's your top performers on Pete Dye courses. Then if we want to take a look at windy conditions, let's see how that does. There's only 12 rounds with wind or windy AF conditions in the past calendar year, but of those rounds, your top 10 players in the wind: Tony Finau, John Rahm, Louis Oosthuizen, Abraham Ancer, Sebastian Munoz, Will Zalatoris, Russell Henley, Patrick Reed, Adam Scott, and Keegan Bradley. So we've already got some overlap here between Pete Dye designs and wind. Keegan has been in the top 10 for both. Russell Henley was in the top 10 for both. Louis and Abraham Ancer were both in the top 10 for both. So very good places to start our kind of our focus this week on those four guys, since they have popped on the first two models or first two filters that we've applied. I think the last thing I want to look at as far as a strokes gained total view is short courses. Definitely want to look at short courses. This is under 7,100 yards, barely, but still under 7,100 yards. In the past 6 months, you've got 26 rounds. That's plenty enough. So your top performers on short courses in the past 6 months. You've got Seamus Power, Tom Hoagie, Victor Hovland, Taylor Gooch, Patrick Cantley, Mac Hughes, Jordan Spieth, Keith Mitchell, Daniel Berger, and Russell Henley. So Russell Henley is the only one that has now popped on all three of the filters that we have applied. He's been fairly low on all three, but he is still in the top 10 in the field in all three. Pete Dye, in the wind, and now short. So it'll be interesting to see. In fact, I'm going to see what I can bring up here for Russell Henley and go match play. Yeah, I don't think he should have been. Yeah, there we go. The Dell. That's what they call it, the Dell. So he has not performed well in the past at this tournament. So take that for what you will. So Bermuda Greens, Russell Henley, pretty good. He is good in the wind, and he's generally best when it's average, trending towards easy. So we're definitely on this part of the spectrum this week. But there's enough to like here with Russell Henley in terms of these overhead kind of strokes gained total metrics that we're looking at. So I'm going to take off the short course filter. Since we know we're on Bermuda Greens, I'm going to go ahead and apply the fast green filter. Again, I don't think they're going to be lightning speed. Could be wrong, but I don't think they're going to be. 12 rounds, I don't think that's going to be enough, so let's do the last calendar year. We have 30 rounds, that's plenty. So your top 10 putters on fast Bermuda Greens in the past calendar year. You got Patrick Reed, Kevin Kisner, Sam Burns, Bryson DeChambeau, DJ, Louis, Will Zalatoris, Ian Poulter, Matt Fitzpatrick, and Alex Noren. Noren coming off a top 20 at the Valspar. Fitzpatrick coming in off a top 5. Louis did not have a good weekend, but did make the cut. He has popped on 2 or 3 of the filters now. Sam Burns, no explanation needed for him. All of his wins, the 2 Valspar wins, and the Sanderson Farms have all come on Bermuda. So he is starting to build a reputation as a very good putter on Bermuda, obviously. The thing is, he has generally not played well in the wind, so that is interesting to see. But again, the guy is coming in with an amazingly hot putter. I'll be interested to see what his stats are with the putter this week. I know, especially today, he was making par save after par save from 8 to 10 feet. It was pretty incredible to watch. So those are your top 10 performers on fast Bermuda Greens in the past calendar year. I'm going to bring it back into the last 6 months. We're definitely going to look at strokes gained approach. So your top strokes gained approach players in the last 6 months: Russell Henley, Will Zalatoris, Victor Hovland, Tom Hoge, Luke List, Justin Thomas, Paul Casey, Sam Burns, John Rahm, and Taylor Gooch are your top 10. What you would expect. Elite ball strikers in an elite field. It's kind of interesting to see Colin Morikawa. He did make the cut to a clunker of a finish. Nothing that he's doing wrong. I'll be interested to see what his stats say this week. At the Players, he missed the cut, but I was willing to write that off just due to the extreme conditions. But his irons haven't been awful by any means, but it is a little worrying that he's starting to have some reds in the strokes gained approach department after being the best in the world for so very long. Is it a blip in the radar? Is there something else here? Don't know. Like I said, I'm willing to write off the Players from last week, or now 2 weeks ago, just due to the conditions. But I do want to see what the Valspar was like for him. I don't think it'll say it was well, but I do want to see it. So those are your top strokes gained approach players. I think there's not going to be much that we can go into tonight, so this might be a fairly short or a shorter show. But we definitely want to look at birdies and bogeys. Definitely going to look at opportunities gained here. Just if the guys are giving themselves opportunities, they're going to score, and you need to score birdies or even eagles to win your matches and continue on into the bracket format and so on. So your top 10 opportunities gained players in the past 6 months. Again, this will reset or recalibrate when the Valspar is loaded, hopefully tomorrow. But your top 10 top 10 opportunities gained in the past 6 months: Justin Thomas, Cameron Young, John Rahm, Russell Henley, Luke List, Victor Hovland, Tom Hoge, Colin Morikawa, Keegan Bradley, Sam Burns, and Taylor Gooch. So good stuff there. Let's look at birdies are better. You've got Justin Thomas first and third. Opportunities listed first, and then birdies are better. So first and third for Justin Thomas, second and fifth for Cameron Young. Russell Henley fourth and fourth. List fourth and seventh. Hovland sixth and second. Morikawa eighth and ninth. In a pure Eagles perspective, Russell Henley's fourth. Colin Morikawa first. Taylor Gooch tied for first. Good stuff there. I don't think we're going to look at anything bogeys or double bogeys. It is all birdies. Birdies are better. Opportunities gained. In fact, I'm going to throw in a couple metrics here. Or a couple filters. Let's look at short course. And we have enough rounds for the past 6 months. So let's look at birdies are better on short courses. So of the players in the field in the past 6 months, these are the players that are top 10 birdies or better gained players. Seamus Power, Luke List, Victor Hovland, Tom Hoge, Patrick Cantlay, Mac Hughes, Louis Oosthuizen, Russell Henley, Taylor Gooch, and Justin Thomas. Probably no surprise there. Maybe a little bit different from the when you take the short course filter off. But with short course filter still on, still kind of want to see opportunities gained too. So of the top 10 in birdies or better, there's really only one top 10 in opportunities as well, and it's Russell Henley. So Russell Henley third in opportunities gained on short courses. He's eighth in birdies or better gained on short courses. So I'm going to take the short course. I was intending to take the short course filter off, and I'm now going to put on the Pete Dye filter. I'm going to extend this out to the last 12 months, last calendar year, so we have enough data to look at. So on Pete Dye courses, your top opportunities gained players: Keegan Bradley, Brooks, Russell Henley, Victor Hovland, Colin Morikawa, Harold Varner III, Eric Van Rooyen, Shane Lowry, Seamus Power, and DJ are now your top 10 on Pete Dye courses. When you combine that with birdies or better, you have Brooks Koepka at second in opportunities, second in birdies or better. Hovland, third and ninth. Lowry, eighth and third. DJ, 10th and first. I'm trying to think, was there anybody that was on both the short course and the Pete Dye? I think, again, it's just Russell Henley. So everything has been pointing to Russell Henley, but he has not played this event well in the past. So interesting to see. I'm definitely going to have to do some research tomorrow, hopefully find some prior leaderboards and results for the past year or two, see the players that progress through the rounds and whatnot. Again, I know Billy Horschel is your defending champ, but I can't tell you much beyond that. I've slept since then. So there is a look at your opportunities gained players and birdies or better players on Pete Dye courses, on short courses. I'm going to hold off on windy with those two. I did take a look at strokes gained total wind in case it keeps up. I'm going to just have to keep an eye on the forecast for you all. Fairways and greens, I don't know how much we're going to use on this. No, because I like the opportunities gained more than just say greens and regulation. Birdies are better. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be much on this either. Maybe distance, but I'll have to see. I'll have to do some research on the types of players that have performed well here, and gotten into the late stages of the bracket format to find out if those types of players generally do well. Let's move to par fours and par fives, and I think that'll probably wrap up the show tonight. So your top performers on par fours in the past 6 months. You've got Justin Thomas, Scotty Scheffler, Louis Oosthuizen, Cameron Young, Jon Rahm, Tom Hoge, Mac Hughes, Colin Morikawa, Victor Hovland, Daniel Berger, and Russell Henley. Let's see, on the drivable par four, and I don't know if that's really going to be Yeah, I mean, it's just one hole, so I don't know how much we want to put a whole lot of weight into that. There are 4 from 350 to 400, and there are 4 from 450 to 500. So if we wanted to look at specifically those two ranges, so we have in the top 10 on all three strokes gained par 4, 350 to 400, and 450 to 500, you have Louis, you have, let's see, Tom Hoagie, and Victor Hovland. No, Victor's 48th in the 350 to 400. So really there's only 2 players that are top 10 in total par 4, 350 to 400 par 4, and 450 to 500 par 4. That is, where'd they go? Louis, 3rd, 10th, and 9th. And you have Tom Hoagie, 6th, 4th, and 9th. So interesting stuff there. And then finally, we're going to move on to the par 5s, and we're going to look at the 550 to 600 too, since all of the par 5s, at least on the scorecard, measure to that length. So your top performers on par 5s in the past 6 months, you've got Scotty Scheffler, Patrick Cantlay, Max Homa, Matt Fitzpatrick, Seamus Power, Russell Henley, Victor Hovland, Tyrrell Hatton, John Rahm, Sergio, and Luke List. And if you combine that with the 550 to 600 par 5s, your players that are in the top 10 in both, you've got Scotty Scheffler, 1st in total, 3rd in the 550 to 600. You've got Max Homa, 3rd and 1st, so just the inverse of Scheffler. So Homa, 3rd and 1st. Fitzpatrick, 4th and 4th. Henley, 6th and 9th. Hatton, 8th and 7th. Yeah, that is it for the guys that are in the top 10 of both of those. So, again, shorter show, not much data to dig into as far as an initial research standards. I will do as much research as I can, find some previous leaderboards, figure out if I can cobble together a list or, put together an average finish, perhaps some average performance, say a win, a loss, a draw, all that stuff. So that is going to do it tonight for the initial research show of the Dell Match Play. Again, a reminder, tomorrow is the data dive for the Dell Match Play like usual. Tuesday night, I'm going to be doing the DFS Tactics for the Match Play since that tournament starts on Wednesday. Then Wednesday night show will be the full Corrales Punta Cana show, the research, the data dive, and the DFS Tactics all in one. So busy week, double tournament week, fun week. Hopefully your brackets are going well. Hopefully you did well this week at the Valspar. So for all the bets you made at the Valspar this past week, for all the brackets that you have going and then hopefully are still going, and until I see you tomorrow night for the Data Dive show, may all your bets be profitable.